This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Lockdown Coverage, week number 2 in the National Football League. Tampa Bay Buccaneers opening up their season in week 2 due to Hurricane Irma, taking on the Chicago Bears. The Bears coming off of a hard-fought loss to the Atlanta Falcons in week 1. They probably had a lot of confidence coming into this game, thinking they could go on the road and possibly steal one against a team that hadn't played yet this season. And also, you throw in the Mike Glennon angle. You know they wanted to get this one for their buddy Mike Glennon starting at the quarterback position. He's coming back to the place where it all started for him. So a lot of new faces in Tampa. Mike Glennon in Chicago. This was supposed to make for some good football in week number 2. Buccaneers had other ideas. This one got out of hand quickly by the halftime break. This one was pretty much a done deal. And you can blame turnovers if you're the Bears for this thing getting out of control. And we'll talk about all of those things and more from this game here in a second. But first, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game over here on the Louie T Network. Want you to be a part of that by simply hitting the subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I'm also on Twitter. In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and give me a follow there on Twitter. Also, if you're watching this video live and would love to have your voice heard at the end of this breakdown, simply use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read at the end of this breakdown. So let's jump into this thing, and we start with the winners in this football game. That would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 29-7 victory over this Chicago Bears football team. A dominant performance by the Buccaneers in their opening game of the season. I thought they did a great job. And let's start with the offensive side of the football. Some new faces there, none bigger than Deshaun Jackson, obviously. And so you see the impact that he has on this team and this offense in particular, because you can't double Mike Evans now. And so Mikey gets single attention, and you saw the end result there. He had a nice start to his season, 7 grabs, 93 yards, and a touch early in this ball game after Tariq Cohen fumble. So I thought the Buccaneers did a really good job of getting Deshaun Jackson some looks, some touches. They tried to go deep, and that's going to eventually work. They're eventually going to hit that. Jameis just overshot him on the deep ball over the middle of the field for a touchdown. They're going to hit that eventually, and when they start to make music with that deep ball, it's going to open up an endless possibilities of opportunities for other guys underneath. So that's something that I was looking forward to, seeing how they would acclimate him to this offense. And I thought he was a guy that they got it to underneath, tried to stretch it deep with him. It didn't work. But again, that opens up everything for everyone else. And I think Mike Evans is going to be the biggest beneficiary of Deshaun Jackson's presence on the field with this Buccaneers offense. The biggest question I have is, why the hell is Jacquizz Rodgers still starting at running back? Y'all can't do better than that. I thought I complained about this enough last year to the point where we wouldn't have to deal with this. The first goddamn game of the season. Really? That's how y'all feel? Jacquizz Rodgers is the best you got at running back? In any event, he's not hurting anybody. It was a solid performance, but again, this is the same crap we were dealing with last year. Less than 3 yards a carry for Jacquizz Rodgers in this game, or slightly over 3 yards, barely over 3 yards a carry. We got to stop this, guys. What are you doing? But in any event, this offense is going to be just fine with Jameis Winston. To me, this was just getting your feet wet. If everyone's went through week 1 already, you didn't. So this looked like a week 1 offensive performance. I wasn't that blown away by what I saw from the Buccaneers in this game offensively, but they didn't need to be dominant. Again, when you are thoroughly outclassing your opponent, you don't have to be flawless on the offensive side of football when your defense and your special teams are creating as many opportunities for you as the Buccaneers had created for them in this game. Speaking of which, let's talk about their defense in this game and special teams, because I thought they won all three phases of the game. And when you win games 29-7, generally you win all three phases of the game. And their defense was outstanding. Early on that first drive, the Bears were moving the football on this Bucs defense. And then Mike Glennon made one fatal mistake, eyeballing his tight end on an out route. And one of the linebackers for the Buccaneers was all over that play. Quan Alexander, reading the eyes of Glennon, took him straight to the football, steps in front of it. And that literally, to me, was the game-changing play, because after that, the Bears weren't the same team offensively. They looked confident on that first drive. Glennon stood in the pocket, stood tall, was delivering darts on third downs. They were moving the football effectively and efficiently. And then that turnover happened. He made that one mistake, and I think it rattled his case. He's never the same quarterback. After that, you get the Tariq Cohen fumble, which that's just a rookie trying to make a play, but he's got to know better. There are two Buccaneer defenders. I understand the ball is bouncing towards the end zone, and you don't want the ball to get down at the 7-yard line. I get it. But there are two Buccaneer defenders right there. What do you think you're going to do? What do you think? You're a He-Man? Think you're the Credible Hulk? You're just going to bust through those two defenders and not have to pay for trying to scoop it up right in front of these guys who are like two hungry wolves waiting for you to do something stupid, which he did, and they ripped it out of his hands, and they recovered the football, led to that Mikey touchdown, and really that got the ball going for the Buccaneers. They then started generating turnovers. They were able to force a fumble of Glennon. They were able to pick him off, pick six to the crib. 4 turnovers caused by the Bucs defense and special teams unit, leading to 23 points in that football game. Dominant performance by the Buccaneers defensively and on special teams. Good to see their second round pick, Noah Spence, getting to the quarterback. That's the guy that you're going to need to get to the quarterback. Gerald McCoy and company, Golston and those guys being physical up front. Tariq Cohen had nowhere to run in this football game. After the performance he had against the Falcons in week 1, I told you the rest of the league would be put on notice. And wherever 29 goes, they're going to be eyeballs following him everywhere to make sure that this guy doesn't hurt you the way that he hurt the Falcons in week 1. And they did a really good job of bottling him up in the run game. Still had some good catches and runs out of the pass game. But again, they want to have him be a feature, not only in the pass game, but as a dynamic back out of the backfield. And I thought the Buccaneers did an excellent job of bottling him and, to a certain extent, Jordan Howard up in the backfield and really making the Bears one-dimensional, and then getting after Glennon, forcing fumbles, picking him off, and really turning this game upside down. So Buccaneers defensively thought they did some really good things. TJ Ward fits right in. I think that was a great acquisition right before the season. I think he was the missing piece in that secondary. This Buccaneers defense looks legit. Again, it's the Bears, and it's your first game of the season. We'll see how this team fares moving forward when the competition becomes a little bit more stiffer. But to get off to a good start at the crib, it's a good sign for the Bucs. 29-7 in a dominant performance in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. Go to the Bears side of things, and I want to start with the offense because I actually thought they had an opportunity early in this game to get off to a really good start. Glennon looked sharp. He looked like a guy that was poised, that wanted to come out and prove the Buccaneers wrong, wanted to show them what the game was missing, and then he makes that one mistake, and it's picked off by Quan Alexander. And I was upset at Glennon because he threw to the wrong guy. If he would have looked all the way to the outside, there was an out cut. There were two outs, inside and outside. Had he taken the out on the outside, he would have had an easy completion, and that drive would have continued to go, and I think they would have been able to get points on that opening possession. Instead, he forces it into essentially double coverage. I don't know why he thought that was the smart place to go with the football. There were two Buccaneers defenders there. Quan Alexander happened to be the one paying the most attention and was able to get his hands on the football, but nonetheless, after that play, I thought Glennon really, he started pressing. And he started to try to be perfect with the football. That led to the fumble because I thought he held on to the ball way too long. Either you got to get out of there, or you got to run, or you got to throw the ball away, but you can't just stand there. He literally rolled out and then just stood there as if no one was coming. And Noah Spence tracked him from behind, got that football out of there, and next thing you know, it's recovered by the Buccaneers. A great bounce, too. Right to Levante David, who just corrals the football, and that set up the Bucs for another scoring opportunity. So Glennon, that pick six, that's an awful decision, an awful throw. The defender is right there underneath that route. I don't know what he saw, what he was looking at. Again, I just thought that first pick rattled his cage, and he was never the same quarterback in the football game. As for the run game, it was really ineffective in this game. The Buccaneers, give them credit. They took away the run game. They limited Tariq Cohen to next to nothing. Jordan Howard was ineffective. He was already dealing with an injury coming into the game, and I don't think he was a guy that you really could count on in this game in particular. So they struggled running the football. That left the onus on Mike Glennon, and he was not able to come through for this offense. And so they're struggling right now to score points. Last week they had an opportunity to win that game. They didn't get it done. They've got to score more points, do this Bears football team. And let me say this. A lot of people were calling for Glennon to be benched in this game. He wasn't awful in this game. He just wasn't good enough, okay? He made some mistakes, absolutely, but this is why Blake Bortles isn't good, because of people out there. And I'm going to call somebody out. My man MJ, I was going to tweet at him because I saw his tweet yesterday. I didn't agree with Trubisky needing to be put in the game. For what? That's why Blake Bortles stinks right now. And just because Trubisky looked good in the preseason doesn't mean he needs to play right away. At the first sign of trouble, put him in the game. Okay, if this Bears team starts the season off 0-7 or they're 1-9, sure, put Trubisky in there, let him run with the rest of the season. They still have an opportunity early in this season with a veteran quarterback. What are you rushing Trubisky for? This team isn't good. What are you going to put him in early for? Okay, allow this man to sit, learn, watch. I know you can't actually fully get better in this league until you actually get in and get game experience. I understand that concept. However, there's something to be said about learning, continuing to practice and hone your craft, and adjusting to everything that comes with a game day, preparing and all of those things that you need to be able to do at a high level to get it done in this league. Allow that young man to sit and learn. There's something to be said about that. And there's something to be said about playing. I don't think it's his time yet. When his time comes, everyone will know. He'll get in, and if he's good enough, he'll flourish, and the Bears will be able to turn that page. But we're not at that point yet. I don't agree with him needing to be in the game and Glennon needing to be benched. That's hogwash, in my honest opinion. As you go to the Bears defense, look, they were put in some really compromising positions by the offense and special teams in this game. I like this Bears defense. I'm going to be honest with you. I like this Bears defense a lot. I think they've got some talented football players. They're a very athletic defense. They run to the football. I like this Bears defense, but again, this defense isn't good enough to have the offense and special teams turn it over 4 times and expect this defense to be able to generate the amount of turnovers to keep the game close or to get stops and keep the opposing team out of the end zone. You can't put that kind of pressure on this Bears defense. They're not ready yet to be able to stand up to sudden change of possession, and they're already with their backs up against the wall at the 13-yard line when Tariq Cohen fumbles the football. They're not ready for that. They're not ready for a pick six, and now they're down, 17-0 in the football game or 23-0 in the football game. They're not ready for that. You got to give this defense a chance to fight like you did last week against Atlanta. You can't turn the football over. You got to stay clean offensively and on special teams and give this defense a chance to give you a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter. Special teams and offense didn't do that in this game, and really I think the defense was solid. They weren't bad. Jameis Winston didn't go off in this game. Jaquiz Rodgers in that run game didn't go off. I thought the Bears defense was adequate, but the offense and special teams let them down, and that's how this score got out of control. So 29-7, Bucs get it done. They roll in their season opener, home opener, go to 1-0 in the season. Bears drop to 0-2. Let's get to some of your comments and see if there are any comments out there by anyone watching the stream. Buffalo pregame says, do you think they'll make the switch to Mitchell Trubisky early? I hope not. And I've already voiced my opinion on that. But I don't think that's necessary at this time. Angry Candy Fan says, bro, the Bears were horrible yesterday. They weren't good yesterday, but they weren't. They were horrible on special teams and offense. Absolutely, I don't disagree with that. And really more so from a turnover standpoint. That was the most disappointing part, because without the turnovers, I think they might be in that ball game, especially with the way the Bears were moving the football early on in this game. I think they might have had a shot, but that's nor here nor there. Angry Candy Fan says, we need Trubisky in instead of Glennon. Again, that's the anxious fan talking right there. Glennon doesn't need to be benched because of the performance yesterday. Again, at the first sign of trouble, everybody wants to bail on Glennon. Had Trubisky not been on this roster, would you want to bench Glennon right now? Okay, I don't get the angst to put the young fella in there so he can get his ass torn up and this Bears team continue to lose and he start to lose confidence. I don't understand the mindset behind throwing him out there and getting his ass torn up and then he lose confidence like we've seen with other young quarterbacks on teams that aren't ready to win yet. I don't understand the thought process behind wanting to get Trubisky in there so that he can get torn a new asshole. Let Glennon go and play. Let this team figure out what they are as a football team. Are they good? Are they bad? What the situation is. If this team is going to be horrible this year and then they're out of the playoff race, you don't know what's going to happen with all the other teams around the league. Just let the season play out. Everyone's always so anxious to put the young guys in. Yeah, you traded up for him, but you also gave Glennon a 3-year, $49 million deal. Allow the man to play football. And if he can't get it done and you think it's time for Trubisky, then let that change happen when it happens. There's no need to expedite that process. I don't understand everyone's haste to get him into the game. In any event, that's going to do it for this breakdown. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Bucs get it done 29-7 over the Chicago Bears in this one. Too many turnovers, too many mistakes for the Bears to have a chance. 4 turnovers on the road, and your defense doesn't create any turnovers. Not going to have this game very close if you make those types of mistakes on the road against a Bucs team that's good enough to put you away with those types of mistakes. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. I've got a bunch more games to break down, including Eagles and Chiefs. What a game that was. That was fun to watch. And Chargers and Dolphins coming up right after that. So stay tuned to Lockdown Coverage. Your man Louie T covering the entire league like a blanket. I'll see you guys in a little bit. See you soon. Have a good one.